Well, before I jump into the material that I want to share with you today, I want to express some gratitude because I feel deep gratitude. I feel gratitude for you. I know that you have taken time away from busy schedules. You've taken time away from family. You've taken time away from important things in your life to be here. And I reverence that sacrifice. I know you spent money. In some cases, you spent money you really didn't have to be here. I respect that. I understand that. I have done that myself before, so I know what it feels like. And I just want to tell you thank you. Thank you for believing in us and believing in yourself enough to make the effort to be here. I want you to know that this is a small group. This is probably the smallest group that I speak in front of. And yet out of small groups have come every single major, powerful movement that this world has ever seen. It's always a group of like-minded, motivated, passionate people who get together and say, we're going to change things. We're going to change the world. And then they go out and follow through on that. This is your moment to do that. I want you to know that the things that we've delivered over this weekend, they are what you need to be as big as you want to be in this business. I also want you to know that we are committed 1,000% to what we have presented here as a business model. This is the direction of the company. This is where we're going. The industry has changed. When I built my business as a distributor, it was a business model, and we used a business model. And in that era, that was the right way to go. But today, in North America, the product-first approach is the way to go. We have to build belief to gain conviction, to create the environment where people can see how this can work for them. So I also want to remind you again that we will deliver on this, and if you come to us with other ideas, we will say no. This is the way we're doing it, okay? Now, I want to also thank the team. These kids in marketing. You know, you all told us that we were old-fashioned, stodgy, and boring, so we went out and hired a bunch of kids. Do you like the effect that that's had on us? Yeah. So, okay, we'll keep them. We love them. We're excited about it. We love the creativity, the innovation that they deliver. We think that they are making us cool in spite of ourselves. But I need you to know how hard they work. All right? And this goes for the marketing and the IT people, the video people. These guys are burning way, way longer hours than they're being paid to work. It's not often that I go by the office, and I only live about half a kilometer from the office, that I don't see lights on at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. So that's passion for what we're doing. They have as much passion for the cause that we're invested in as you do from your side of the equation. So make sure that you let them know your feelings, that you're grateful that you have partners on the other side of the equation who are committed to this proposition, that we're going to change the world. Make sure that happens before you go home. Now, I love the study of human nature. It turns me on to think about why we do the things we do. And it also is very helpful to study human nature because we're in the people-building business. That's what we do. And of all the products that we sell, the most important product that we sell is a better you. We're designed as a company to build better people, to really give birth to the leader in you. Mark Twain made an observation. My assistant Lori gave me this quote just a few hours ago, and I thought I'd never seen that before. He said, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Now, I know why I was born. I love seeing leaders born. And they're born at all ages. They're not born at birth. You don't walk into the hospital and see the little babies in blue and say, oh, there's the boy babies, and the little babies in pink, and those are the girl babies, and the little babies in, I don't know, red, there's the leader babies. You don't see that. Now, leaders are born sometime in the course of their life. Maybe it's very young. Maybe it's later in life. But whenever it is an absolutely sensational experience to observe. When you see someone who captures the potential that was always there, they become a leader. Aaron talked about becoming. The potency of that, I hope, was captured in your heart. That you have to become the rank before you get the rank. And when you become a leader, when that moment happens, when you realize, I can do this, I'm going to do this. If you're a person like me, it brings tears to your eyes. I can sit back on that back row and watch leaders speak like this morning and clap and cheer and just literally fall in love over and over and over again. I just love it. So, the study of human nature is a big deal to me. Because so many people, the great, vast majority of humanity, never finds out why they were born. They live and they die. And in between, in the words of one of the great American philosophers, they lead lives of quiet desperation. You know how that feels? I've actually felt that way at times in my life, living a life of quiet desperation, not wanting anyone to know how really scared I was, how really nervous I was, how really depressed I was about the way things were. So we've all kind of felt that way, haven't we? But when you find out why, it changes everything for you. When you find out why you were born, when you realize the leadership potential that exists within each of us, when you find that out, it changes everything. No longer are there any excuses to make because you are the only problem that you have. And baby, you're the only solution. So, I want you to watch a little video here in just a minute. It's a video that the team put together. And they actually put it together for some other reason, but as soon as they showed it to me, I stole it. And that's one of the perks you get in my job. And so I want you to watch this, but I want you to watch it not with the mind of capturing the words that are spoken or even trying to identify the people that you see. I want you to think about how it makes you feel about you and your ability to do this business. So let's roll that video.
Yeah, you could be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be a leader guiding all the rest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war, you can reach your dreams you've never found before. You can be a diamond, you can own your clock, you can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a leader, don't wait for luck, dedicate yourself and you can find yourself living on the wall of fame. And the world's gonna know your name, and you're never gonna be the same. And the world's gonna know your name, and you'll be riding high on the wall of fame. You can go the distance, you can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be a hero, you can get the gold. You can forge your path, you can break the mold. Do it for your people, do it for your pride. Friends in your corner and family by your side. Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause it's gonna be a day when you're living on the wall of fame. And the wall is gonna know your name. And you're never gonna be the same. And the wall is gonna know your name. And you'll be riding high on the wall of fame. You can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be a leader, guiding all the rest. You can be the world, you can beat the war. You can reach your dreams you've never found before. You can be a diamond, you can own your block. You can move a mountain, you can break the rocks. You can be a leader, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself living on the wall of fame.
So, capture the feeling. The feeling that you had while the video was playing about you is the real possibility. That is authentic. That is your potential. That is real. That is reality. Now, the feelings that you will have coming soon after we end this event, the feelings of doubt and feelings of fear, maybe even the words from other people about you can't, those aren't real. But you will believe them most of the time as being real. People may even say to you, get real. Come back to reality. Why do you think you can do that? Who do you think you are? And those feelings, which so many people believe, they're the false feelings. They're the false thinking. But so many people let those feelings dominate their life. That's why I love that video. Because while I'm watching it, I'm feeling what's real about my possibilities, about your possibilities, about what we can do, right? There's power there. So why is it that we allow these things to happen to us? Well, interesting little quote here by Fred Smith, the founder of Federal Express. I captured this some years ago, and I've kept it with me over the years because it teaches a profound truth. You are the way you are because that's the way you want to be. If you really wanted to be any different, you'd be in the process of changing right now. What's the difference between want to be and really want to be? Well, there's a man. He was a busy executive. He had been in good shape when he was younger in life, but as the stress of work and the busyness of life had overwhelmed him, he had gotten out of shape and overweight. And he'd make these resolutions all the time. You know, I want to get fit. I want to get healthy. But what he really wanted was the donut. What he really wanted was the hamburger and fries. He wanted to be healthy, but he really wanted the hamburger and fries. So nothing changed. One day, he's late for his flight. He gets to the airport. He's got a chance of making it. So he's running, or I should say lumbering, down the concourse. And just about the time he reaches the gate, he feels a sharp pain go right up his arm. And that's the last thing he notices before he blacks out. Just intense pain. Fortunately, he was one of the lucky ones. 1/3 of the people who have that experience don't live to tell about it. But he was one of the ones that did. And as he was convalescing in the hospital, he realized that something had changed inside of him. Now he wanted the donut. He wanted the hamburger and fries. But he really wanted to live. Something changed. And what Fred Smith is talking about here is simply the notion of commitment, conviction, and passion for what you really want. To take the time, sometime, soon, to assess your heart, to know exactly what it is you really want. Stop lying to yourself. Now, I have a friend, and he's an interesting guy. He's passed away now. He's dead, but he made a huge impact on me. He moved into my neighborhood, bought the home across the street from me, Mohawk Indian. And he always used to introduce himself to people as just a dumb Indian. That's what he'd say. I'm just a dumb Indian. He was far from dumb. Born in abject poverty on the reservation, but he fought his way out of that, got into the business world, in the concrete business, tough business. Became so successful, he was a multi-millionaire and retired in his 50s and bought this home and poured $5-6 million into it across the street from me. Big house, 20,000 square feet, just he and his wife rattling around that place. We became friends, which was hard to do because he was always telling me the truth. You know, I have a quote journal that I build. I've been doing this for years. And very few people who are alive have said things while they were alive in my friendship that got into my quote book. He has 2 in there. But it's sometimes painful to be around true friends because that truth doesn't always feel good. He used to say to me all the time that feedback is the breakfast of champions. And he'd say, "So, Stewart, do you want to be a champion?" And I said, "Conrad, can I be just like a half a champion today? Because my ego's a little low." He said this, and I captured it in the moment he said it, because I thought, there is wisdom there. The single biggest weakness in those who fail in leadership roles is the inability or unwillingness to effectively confront and correct false thinking and inappropriate behavior, first in themselves, and then in those they have the responsibility to lead. Ouch. Wow. You mean I have to give up being a hypocrite? It's so much more fun just to get up and tell people what they should do. Actually doing it myself, that's a lot harder, right? But think about this. Have you ever known a hypocrite to sustain a leadership role for any serious length of time with intelligent people? Never happens. You've got to fix you first. You don't need to be perfect, but don't ever teach stuff that you're not willing to do. You just can't do it. It's so inauthentic, it reeks. And anybody who's not just sick with insecurity will smell it. Why don't we embrace feedback? Todd Smith and I developed a strategy 24, how long have we been working together? 22 years, seems like 50. But no, not because of you, but partly because of you. The reality of it is we had a pact. And the pact was that he would tell me whenever I did something that he didn't think was the most effective or appropriate thing to do. If I could have done something in his mind better than I did it, he had my permission to tell me. And those of you who know Todd know that he took advantage of that permission regularly. And I'm the better man for it. In fact, he met me out before I came on and said, here's what I think you need to do. And I said, it's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. Sort of. And I had the permission to do the same thing with him, which I took less advantage of because I just didn't very often see things that I could correct with him. Because he had been so honest with himself for so long, he had already sort of excised a lot of that stuff out of his life. But that ability to be willing to accept feedback that isn't necessarily flowery, isn't necessarily what you want to hear, that ability gives you power. But why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? Why aren't we willing to embrace that? What is it about our nature that just wants to hear the good stuff? Tell me what you like about me, and don't stop anytime soon. Well, maybe it's because we get so much garbage, inadvertently. We get pounded down, we get beat up. From the time we're a small child, you know, we wet our bed, and Mom is unhappy because she's got a bad day going, and she gets after us, and we're thinking, I don't know how that happened, you know. But obviously, I got a problem. And then Dad has a bad day, and we're in the wrong place at the wrong time doing the wrong thing, and he does something, and then we're saying, oh, man, I really have a problem. My first memory of life is my parents fighting. Not arguing, physically fighting. That's great. Nothing gives a child more security than when the father loves the mother and the mother loves the father. That is the most powerful thing you can do for a child. And when that is not there, something just doesn't work quite so well, right? So all these things combine on us, and they come at us, and they beat us up, and they create within us this sense of impending doom if we get different. If we get outside the box, something really bad's going to happen. You know, something bad's going to happen if I do that. I'm just going to stay right here. And years ago, I came across a movie, and it's the most important movie in my mind that Hollywood's ever delivered. In fact, Spielberg said to a journalist one time that it was the most important movie he ever made. Most of you will have never seen it unless you've been hanging around me for a while. But I want to show you a little clip of it, okay?
Was that old man at the river now? I say just, the man just keep rolling. Oh, Lord.
No. You were wrong. He was wrong. Who said that? I didn't say that. If I said that, I would have been wrong. I would have been wrong. Isn't that right, Harry? I'm not arguing that with you. I'm not arguing that with you. Go. I am not arguing that with you. Listen, let me call you back. I got something here, okay? Don't say anything until we finish our conversation, all right? Joe. Yeah! You are at lunch 3 hours.
Yeah, about that. Where's my friend? Where is my friend?
Turi. Mr. Turi. Hello?
This is company property, mister. Joe, don't touch that! What are you doing?
I'm opening or closing the main drain.
You shouldn't be touching that, Joe.
Nothing happened. You know how long I've been wondering what happened if I did that?
What's the matter with you?
Brain cloud.
What?
Oh, never mind. Listen, Mr. Waturi. Frank. I quit.
You mean today?
That's right.
That's great. Don't come looking for a reference from me.
Okay, I won't. Robinson Crusoe.
You blew this job.
Romeo and Juliet. The Odyssey.
You blew this job.
Ukulele. Been working here 4.5 years. The work I did I probably could have done in 5 or 6 months. At least 4 years left over. 4 years. If I had them now, like gold in my hand. Here. This is for you. Goodbye, Didi.
You going?
If you're leaving, leave. You'll get your check. And I promise you, you'll be easy to replace.
I should say something.
What are you muttering?
This life, what a joke. This situation, this room.
Joe, maybe you should just go.
You look terrible, Mr. Waturi. You look like a bag of stuffed in a cheap suit. Not that anybody could look good under these zombie lights. I can feel them sucking the juice out of my eyeball. Suck, 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 suck. $300 a week. That's the news. For $300 a week, I've lived in this sink, this used.
You watch it, mister. There's a woman here.
Don't you think I know that, Frank? Don't you think that I am aware that there is a woman here? I can smell her like a flower. I can taste her like sugar on my tongue. When I'm 20 feet away, I can hear the fabric of her dress when she moves in her chair. Not that I've done anything about it. I've gone all day, every day, not doing, not saying, not taking the chance for $300 a week. And Frank, the coffee, it stinks. It tastes like arsenic. These lights give me a headache. If they don't give you a headache, you must be dead. So let's arrange the funeral.
You better get out of here. I'm telling you.
You're not telling me nothing.
I'm telling you.
Why? I ask myself, why have I put up with you? I can't imagine. But I know. It's fear, yellow freaking fear. I've been too chicken afraid to live my life, so I sold it to you for $300 freaking dollars. Oh, wait! You are lucky I don't kill you! You're lucky I don't rip your freaking throat out! But I'm not going to! Maybe you're not so lucky at that. Because I'm gonna leave you here, Mr. Waturi. What could be worse than that? Didi,
Yeah.
how about dinner tonight?
Yeah, okay. Wow. What a change.
Did you catch some key things in there? Because we laugh at that because it's familiar to us. We've experienced it, haven't we? We have lived that life a little bit, maybe, or maybe a lot, where we've sold our life for $300 freaking dollars a week. Why? Because we're so afraid. Afraid to do what we want to do. Afraid to live the way we want to live. Afraid to believe that we are worthy of a quality life, where we're worthy to have the dreams that we've been having in our best moments actually come true. I watch that clip regularly. Because throughout your life, throughout your journey towards your dreams and the capturing of new dreams, you're going to face opposition and obstacles. You'll face circumstances that will sometimes be so overwhelming that you will not think there is a way out. I know that because I've faced those. Not too long ago, a dear friend of mine, top leader in Southeast Asia, top leader in the company, highest paid guy in the company, was facing something that, frankly, I was terrified about for him. And we were having dinner in Hong Kong, and I was counseling him because of my fear. And he said, why are you so afraid? I says, because I care about you. He says, no, don't worry about that. I thought, man, what a game face. And then I left and went to the airport, and when I got to the airport, I saw this quote. He sent me. Now, he learns English by going to movies. I've never actually seen this movie, but I love the quote. Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity. Do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. And I got on the flight with that on my cell phone, thinking, that's why he's the highest paid guy in the company. It's that mindset. The ability to say, I'm doing it, I'm going. You know, whatever happens is going to happen, but it isn't going to happen bad for me because I gave it a half-hearted effort, that's for sure. I'm going to go in with both feet, swinging as hard as I can, and I'll let the chips fall where they fall. And more often than not, they fall right for him because of that attitude. That attitude is an attitude that you can choose to adopt. It's within the scope of your humanity to act as an agent for yourself, to choose how you're going to feel, to choose how you're going to react, to choose what thoughts you're going to water and feed, to choose how you're going to respond to both victory and defeat. How will you respond? It's your choice. Always your choice. You can never get away from the fact that it's your choice. If you give up the choice, you become a lower animal that acts out of instinct. When I drive onto my ranch property, there's lots of wildlife up there. You ever heard the phrase, deer in the headlights? I've seen lots of deer in my headlights. In fact, you have to go slow at night, or else you'll end up hitting a deer with your car because they are so frozen by those headlights and the fear they're feeling that they cannot move. I was riding up there one night, it's about midnight. I try to get up whenever I can to spend a few hours there. And I was on my motorcycle. And so I was moving a little quicker than I should move. And I came around a bend, and there was a doe, for those of you who are not familiar, a female deer. And she was so rattled that she just moved here 2 feet, moved there 2 feet, moved here. And I had to come to a complete stop, turn off my lights to get her to actually leave the road. The very space where she was most at risk was the space that she could not free herself from. Because fear paralyzes us. However, something else frees us from fear. That's the great truth. I'm an amateur on the Bible, but in the Bible it says, perfect love casteth out all fear. If you love something enough, you can cast out the fear that you feel. I have a friend who has a friend who is a remarkable man. And he's so remarkable that I can only get close to him by one generation. But his friend told me an interesting story. He said this man was given a very heavy responsibility. So heavy, so significant, that he was literally overwhelmed with anxiety and depression about his worthiness to have this responsibility. It became so acute that he could do nothing. He finally went to a mentor of his, a man who had carried that burden for many years. He laid out his case and said, I shouldn't be involved in this. It's beyond me. I'm incapacitated. And the wise old man said these words, Jeff, stop thinking about yourself so much and you'll be fine. That's interesting, isn't it? Stop thinking about yourself so much and you'll be fine. What is fear but thinking about what might happen to me? Okay. Well, there's another quote I want to share with you. It's from a freedom fighter in Burma. He's now free. He wrote a book, fascinating book. In the book is this quote. As he was being chased and chased and chased and chased by the Burmese military, who would have taken his life if they had caught him, he said this, I discovered it was impossible to be motivated to force one's body to climb mountains day after day from fear of death. If I let my mind dwell on the dangers, I found I lost all physical energy. It was only if I thought about freedom and love of life that the physical burden was supportable. I was determined not to talk about danger and to avoid those who did so. Isn't this interesting? This is a man who is confronting a life and death situation every single minute of every single day. He determines this great, profound truth that if he hangs out with people that are negative, people that are focusing on fear, people that are focusing on things that might go wrong, he doesn't even have the energy to save himself. In fact, the reality of that is that lack of energy would lead to the very thing he was afraid of, being captured and executed. And it's like that for all of us. If we let our fears get control of us, if we let them dominate our decision-making process, if they become able to crowd out these other feelings, what happens is we actually attract the very thing that we're fearing. We draw it into ourselves. So, it feels good right now, doesn't it? Sort of. Except for my talk. You feel a lot of confidence right now. You've been through a couple of days with great stuff happening and good feelings, and you've been hanging around these guys that have done it, and you've seen them, and you realize that, yeah, they're good, but, you know, they put their clothes on the same way I do. Their DNA really isn't that much different than mine. I can do this thing. And by hanging around them, you've gained some confidence. And by seeing these tools and all this, you've gained some confidence. And right now you're feeling, I can do this, I can do this. And you're making goals for yourself, and I can do this, I can do this. But like I said before, the doubts will come. Usually when you're tired. Churchill made an observation in the height of the war. He said, fatigue makes cowards out of all of us. Which is why I've always told my kids nothing good happens after 10:30 at night. The fact is, when you are fatigued, you will make bad decisions. You won't just be a bad driver of your car, you'll be a bad driver of your life. You won't believe in yourself as much because you're tired, stressed, and worried. In those moments, you need to call somebody who isn't and say, hey, give me a pep talk. I need a lot of stuff. And you know what the beauty of our business is? The beauty of Unicity is? you're surrounded by people that at any given moment of time are going to be up when you're down. And if you'll just reach out to them, they'll jack you up and get you fired up, and you'll start feeling like the champion again. But if you sit there and suffer in silence, more often than not, your fear will overwhelm your faith. And you will shrink into that life of quiet desperation. Love, faith, confidence. We will commit to you that Unicity is about providing the world's best platform for the development of leaders. We will have the best science that we can possibly find anywhere on the planet, but our real focus will always be about you and the platform that you need to find out why you were born. Now, I want to be joined up here by the diamonds and double diamonds and triple diamonds, so come on up here, guys. Stand with me while we watch one more time that video you saw at the beginning. I want you to remember how you feel in the middle of this.
Yeah, you could be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be a leader guiding all the rest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war, you can reach your dreams you've never found before. You can be a diamond, you can own your clock, you can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a leader, don't wait for luck, dedicate yourself and you can find yourself living on the wall of fame. And the world's gonna know your name. You're never gonna be the same. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be riding high on the wall of fame. You can go the distance, you can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be a hero, you can get the gold, you can forge your path, you can break the mold. Do it for your people, do it for your pride, friends in your corner and family by your side. Do it for your country, do it for your name, 'cause it's gonna be a day when you're living on the wall of fame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you're never gonna be the same. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be riding high on the wall of fame. You can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be a leader, guiding all the rest. You can be the world, you can beat the war, you can reach your dreams you've never found before. You can be a diamond, you can own your clock, you can move a mountain, you can break the rocks. You can be a leader, don't wait for luck, dedicate yourself and you can find yourself living on the wall of fame.
So, let this be the day you change your story. God bless you. Let's build it.